Welcome back to International Scale Model. I'm Lee. Today we're going to do a review of the Iwata Eclipse HPCS. Now the guys at graphicair.co.uk kindly sent this down to me to do a review and everything for you. I inquired about an airbrush because I want one that's going to do solely for my alclads, my cellulose based ones. Now at the moment I do have a Neo. And while the Neo is a great budget airbrush, it is a budget airbrush. So I wanted something perhaps a little bit more oomph, and maybe a little bit more sturdy, and that's going to have more options and things like that as well. So I went for the Eclipse here. Now I know that Graphicair at the moment they've got a special on it. I think it's £150 normally. They've got it down to about 120 quid. So well worth checking out. Anyway, I'll put a link up somewhere in the video and everything for you. I mean, I've had it out of the box and had a feel of it. It's a great feeling airbrush. It really does very nice, super smooth action as well. Much better than the Neo. I mean, 10 times, 20 times better than the Neo for sure. But without further ado, let's have a look inside the box. Right, okay, the Iwata Eclipse HPCS. Now, the guys at Graphicair have kindly sent this to me. I needed an airbrush to do my alclads and things like that for cellulose, a reasonably decent one. At the moment I use the Iwata Neo for Iwata. Great budget airbrush, but it is a budget airbrush, and it's good for, you know, if you want an extra airbrush and things like that. But the opportunity came up to get one of these, so I jumped at the chance, and I've got to say, well, I've literally had it out, picked it up and everything, so it is a nice airbrush. I haven't used it yet, so we'll do that live on camera today. But as you can see, nice packaging on the box itself. We've got here all the uses that you can use it for, all sorts of odds and sods, you know, car painting, spraying and modelling, body art, all sorts of stuff. Elsewhere on the box, obviously you've got the Iwata silver foil thing to make sure it's a genuine product. And on the back we have basically just what's in the box, I think, more than anything. But again, with all Iwatas, they do come with a 5-year guarantee, which is nice. So let's have a look inside the box. So we've just got a sleeve on top here, which I'll pop over there. And we've got this nice black presentation box. And inside we have a UK warranty and instructions and everything. More instructions, we'll get to those in a second. We've got it's packed in this nice soft foam stuff again, which I think all airbrushes come in these days. So let's pop the airbrush out itself. Now immediately it's a very nice weight indeed. It really is a nice weight. I like the weight of that. We've then got a tube of super lube, which is always handy for any situation. And then we have an Iwata spanner here, which we'll get into a little bit later on. So I don't think there's... that's it. So pop that box away. Okay, and just pop it over there. Right, okay, so the airbrush itself, first impressions, it's quite a heavy airbrush, I have to say. It's a good weight. I do like the heavier airbrushes, mainly because they feel better in your hands. Yeah, and you actually know that you've got them there. Now what we'll do is we'll pop that down for a second and we'll go through the instructions, all the bits of paper that come with it. Now if you saw my recent review of the TRN2, the trigger one, this is basically exactly the same. It's a quick start guide for a gravity feed airbrush, and it just basically goes by how you attach it to your air hose and everything, how you would put paint in, obviously dropping your paint into the brush. It's quite, I'm sure most of you know how to do all this. Start airbrushing, obviously down for air and then back for paint, as with all dual action airbrushes. Nothing new there. It tells you about how to clean it and everything. Obviously best cleaner on the market is our ultimate airbrush cleaner. You won't get any better than that. So it tells you how to do the preset and cutaway handles and things like that with the chucking kit, and this one doesn't come with a Mac valve, so that's no point knowing any of that. And then you've got some numbers for Iwata around the world and everything. Quite a few countries there, apart from England. Oh no, there you go. There you go. So quite a few countries there. Okay, so that is the airbrush guide. You then come on to We've then got the operating instructions. Now, again, airbrushing, if you've used one airbrush, you've pretty much used them all in regards to dual action. They all work the same, they don't work any different. It just depends on the quality and how well they flow and everything. But basically it just goes through here how air pressure, paint preparation, operating your airbrush, obviously down for air, back for paint. The start is the golden rule of operation, which is we had someone on the forum that has kept having paint splattering, and this is air on first, air off last. It's really, really important that you use that method. So it's down for air, push back for paint, push back and then up, and always do that, and you'll never get any splattering on your paint. So we had a guy on the forum recently that had that problem, and that's exactly what it was. Obviously, you know, they've got some tips for spraying fine lines and things like this. Cleaning your airbrush, procedures for cleaning. It's basically telling you how to take the needle part off the front and everything. Cleaning needles and needle caps, and another procedure for cleaning picks 4 and 5, which is your needle and looks like your housing and things like that. Yeah, the needle housing. Maintenance and troubleshooting, always good, and it's black on the back. So it gives you a good idea. So there's a few instructions there, not overly so, but there is the basics there if you are new to airbrushing. We've then got the UK warranty on Iwata airbrushes. Now this is a 5-year guarantee. Which is excellent, and it says here you've got to obviously send off for your warranty, so you just fill that in, which I will be doing very soon. Send it off, and there's your 5-year warranty. So if anything happens to the airbrush, if the trigger breaks or anything like that, then it's usually covered. As you can see, it's as long as it's not subject to negligence or misuse, you're fine. So very nice indeed. Well done, Iwata. So the airbrush itself, as you can see, it's a very nice airbrush indeed. It's got this writing engraved on it along here, the Iwata Eclipse HPCS, and on the other side you've got Anesta Iwata, which is obviously the name of the guy who owns the company. Now, what I can't relay to you is the really nice weight of this. Now, I like a heavy airbrush. I don't like light airbrushes. I've got a Harder and Steenbeck Infinity CR Plus. Now, this is my weapon of choice for extremely fine stuff. I've got to say, this is heavier, and I do like the fact that this is heavier, just because it's just gives you that nice feeling in the hands. You know that there's something there. Anyway, that's just personal preference. Some people like them light, I'm sure. Comes with a nice tight-fitting cap as well. As you can see, the milling inside the cup is extremely nice. Now, obviously, that will wear off over time, but it's very smooth, very nice. I like the way that it's got a very broad bottom. If you can see, it doesn't narrow. That's what I like about the Iwatas. They've got these broad bottoms, so you can get in there, right in there, and clean them, rather than have these narrow necks. It's great for mixing as well, because it means when you're mixing in the pot, literally straight away your mixed solution is straight down the airbrush, rather than have to feed it through a thin neck and stuff like that. So very nice indeed. You've then got the front of the airbrush, the business end. Obviously, you've got a cap, a nut here, which we'll go into in a second, and then on the rear you've got the cutaway rear case. Now I'm going to take this apart, so it literally is just undo that, undo the chuck, and I'm going to pull the needle out. So take it out. So this comes with a 0.35 needle. Which is quite industry standard really for spray painting, and you'll get some nice lines and everything with that for sure. So again, as with all airbrushes, you've got the button itself, the trigger, and then you've got this comes out. So if you want to clean all the inside, it's got the spring and the action and everything in there. You can adjust that to see how tight you want the button to come back as well. I like it really tight, so I've got to push to get the spray pan. Right, okay, so the cap, it literally is undo the cap. Obviously you wouldn't do this with the needle on there, because you'd have a chance of dinging the needle, so always take the needle out first before you do that. And then you come to this part here. Now this is where the Iwata spanner comes into its own. This is literally, it's just ever so light, never over tighten stuff on an airbrush. As you can see, it's got the seal there. Okay, and we've got this needle housing here. Now this is all very nice indeed, no problems with that. Now as you can see, this will sometimes get dirty in here. Now you've got the nozzle right here. Now What you don't get in the kit, which is a bit strange, is one of these. Now this came with my Neo. Now this is a nozzle spanner. I do believe that Iwata do actually do a thing that comes over the top as well. But you don't get one of these in the kit. And that just goes on there, literally, and then you can undo the nozzle. So you will need one of those as well if you want to clean your nozzle, which doesn't come in the kit, which is very strange indeed. So, but if you've got other airbrushes, then you will have one of those. If not, if this will be your only airbrush that you first one you purchase, you need to get one of these tiny nozzle spanners as well. That comes with you can see it has like a PFT lining on there, ever so small in red. Let's see if that'll focus. There you go. Okay. And they do advise in the instructions to take this nozzle off only if necessary. So I've done that. Now I would imagine it's because of the stuff. It's like a PFPTE stuff that plumbers use, but it's a red one. So literally tighten to a bit, then just a final little click like that, ever so gently. You don't want to thread those, and then you can pop the housing back on. As I say, finger tight, and then one little one. Nozzle cap on, finger tight. Always when you put the needle back in, always use your finger as a guide, and then you're not going to bash the point of the needle against the edge of the chuck, which I've done many times in the past. Needle all the way home, little tap at the end, tighten your chuck up, and then on goes the rear. So a very simple operation, as you can see. That's just been stripped. Apart from taking the button out, but that's just been stripped in seconds. So very easy operation, easy to get in there and clean and everything. It is a bit weird that we don't get the small one in there, but as I say, if you've got other airbrushes, you'll have one of these anyway, because everyone apart from Harder and Steenbeck uses these. Even the cheap Chinese ones will do. They're the same size. Right. Okay. So I mean that's basically the airbrush in itself. Obviously, you get this bit of little tube of super lube. I have a big thing of this that I bought years ago, and I'm not joking. Let me just show you. I bought this 3 years ago. It is super lube. It's exactly the same stuff, but you can buy it in a big bottle. I bought that 3 years ago, and I've hardly eaten into it at all. Literally, as you can see, not a lot at all. So that will last you a good 3 years or so. What you should do is when you clean your airbrush, when you do your monthly maintenance, you should always clean your airbrushes, give them a full breakdown and clean it once a month at least. If you're a heavy airbrusher like Paul, then you need to do it probably once or twice, once every 1 or 2 weeks. But the moving parts, things like your triggers and things like that, always just pop a little bit of super lube in there, and it just keeps everything moving nice and gently and everything. So I will obviously put that all the way through before I start using the airbrush. So anyway, so let's. I've got one of these quick release valves, which I'm just going to pop on here. Okay, as with all my airbrushes, those were only like £10 for a set of 4 off of eBay, so very good value for money. Not particularly great fit, but they do fit. Right. Okay, so that's on nice and tight. So let's pop some air in there. As you can see, that's at 25 psi, and as you can hear, a lot of air coming out there, so very good indeed. In fact, I think that's just over. So I'm just going to drop that a little bit. That's better. Right, okay, so that's the airbrush on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some paint for you very quickly. Okay, so I'm going to use some Guns Flat Black. Okay, so this will be a 50-50 mix, and we'll give you an idea on how it sprays. Okay, so whenever you're doing any mixing at all, obviously Ultimate Airbrush are best in the world at the moment, and that is not an unvalid claim. If you want some thinner, this is guaranteed to work with every single acrylic modeller's paint known out there. So if you want a thinner, that's the stuff to go. umpretail.com, go get some. Right, okay, so it's going to be 50-50 mix with the paint. So as you can see, drops a fine button. I like this wide bottom, very nice indeed. And 50-50 paint mix, so there we go. Okay, I'm going to pop the cap back on, otherwise I will spill it, as I always do. Right, then I'll just give it a quick twizzle with these Guns paint stirrers, very handy indeed. Right, so you get the consistency of milk, as you can see there. That's excellent. As I say, I'm spraying at 22 to 25 psi. Right, okay, so let's just see. It's the first time I've used this, so it'll be interesting to see. Right, so you can get some nice wide stuff, as you can see. Comes out very smooth indeed. So let's see if we can get some fine lines going on here. There we go. So as I say, this is a 0.35 needle. And you're getting some lovely fine lines there indeed. Very nice indeed. The action's very smooth on it. I've got to say, I do like that. Let's just move that over a bit. Very nice indeed. So for pre-shading, as you can see, it's going to come out very nice and get some lovely lines on it. Now this spray pattern goes up to 2 inches apparently, so you can go up to 2-inch spray pattern. I think that's I don't think it does actually, and I think that's a bit optimistic, but in close produces some very fine lines, as you can see. Very nice indeed. Okay, so I'm going to quickly clean this out now. Right, excess paint comes out. Ultimate airbrush cleaner again, best in the world at the moment. And we'll give it a quick clean. Old paintbrush, good swirl around side, half a cup of thinner cleaner, sorry. Give that good swirl around, inside and out. Make sure you do your nozzle as well, your needle. Now you can't do bubble back with this. There it comes. So cleaning is nice and easy. I mean, what makes it even easier is obviously this large space at the bottom of the cup here. As you can see, that's nearly dry. So another quick. Now a quick clean on the needle. Get that through. And as with everything that I do, I always go back through, give it a swish round with thinner. If you use the thinner, that's what leaves the residue in your cup. So if you're doing paint changes and things like that, you don't want to go straight from the cleaner to the new paint. Always put the thinner in, because the cleaner is much more aggressive and it will react with your paint. So there you go, that comes out nice and clean. So there we go, one clean airbrush. So thoughts. Well, I do like that. I think it's a very nice airbrush to use. I've got to say that it does feel really nice in the hand. I do like a bit of weight. The action is very smooth indeed. There's no jerkers, and obviously I haven't even lubed this up yet either. So once it's lubed, it'll be even smoother than it is now. But a very nice airbrush. It's got a 0.35 needle. You can get a 0.5 as well with that. I think you can't go any lower. There's no kits for going lower than that, which is the only drawback, I would say. I think really you need to be able to have the option to have a 0.2 on there as well, just so you can have some really fine work. But apart from that, it's a very nice. I think the cup itself's 9 millilitres, so it's a good size cup. You can get a lot in there, and it's easy. Obviously, it's all easy to clean inside. And again, another thing, it doesn't have this little spanner for the small nozzle there, which is a bit strange. But it does have a drop-in self-centering nozzle for ease of assembly, which is the big part inside. So, but overall, I think the guys at Graphic Hair .co.uk, I believe, they've got a special on this at the moment. It's, I think, RRP is about £150, but they've got it. They're down to £120 at the moment. So they're really good value for money. I think It's actually a higher than mid-range airbrush, but it's actually down in the mid-range airbrush prices at the moment. So if you're thinking on an airbrush, that's a good all-rounder, I think. That will do everything. It will do your base coats, your clear coats, it will do fine lines, and it will do all your little pre-shading and things like that. Obviously, if you're not a modeler and you do like maybe body art or painting or anything like that, again, because of the size cup in there, you're going to get a good amount of paint in there and everything as well. So good for all functions, good multi-use airbrush, and a recommend from me. I do like the weight of that, I've got to say. It does feel nice in the hand. But that is the Iwata Eclipse HPCS, and I think that's definitely a recommend. Thanks a lot. Until next time. Take care. Bye bye.